Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I welcome you back, and thanks for joining me here for just a couple of minutes. Just want to share just a little bit, just about a couple of the videos I made recently. Well, recently, it's been a little while, but of the guy with the power washer and the bearded man, and just sort of talk about a couple of those videos for just a couple of minutes with you. And but first, Psalm 19. When I read Psalm 19, all I can see in there is I just read that on the surface is God is talking through everything. He's talking through his creation, what he's created is speaking to us about him. He's in everything. It's like, are we going to listen? Are we going to hear him in the midst of all of those things, in the midst of life? Do we want to take the time out to find him in creation, um, in the circumstances of life around us, or don't we? And so in the video of the power washer, and I'm power washing the truck, and then the bearded guy comes up and is asking questions. In the midst of that, it's kind of a period of life for me where I was doing the things the things I had been told I should be doing. I was doing sort of the right things. I was saying the right things. I was making the right noises, but I wasn't getting clean. Inside, I wasn't. I could tell. You know what? I'm saying I'm not angry, for instance, but inside I'm angry. Maybe I have a facade on the outside and I'm not showing that anger, but inside I'm actually really angry. And I want to be clean of those things. I don't want to just be putting the facade over it. I don't want to be acting like I'm getting clean any longer. And so, in the midst of that, in that video that I made, the power washer is just really, and I think I might have said that after the video, but just really speaking of the relationship with God. And, a power washer cleaning a vehicle, that water may be representing the Holy Spirit. And you're not going to get that water and that that pressure with the water that cleanses. You're not going to get that if that engine isn't running, right? And it wasn't running in my life. So I'm cleaning away, or acting like I'm cleaning away, and I'm putting on the facades, but nothing's really getting clean. And the reality is it's kind of obvious in my life, if I'm honest with myself. It's kind of on. It's obvious. And that's the bearded man. He kind of just, when he comes up and he begins to question, he really just kind of is supposed to be symbolic of wisdom. Wisdom is telling me, if I'll pay attention, if I just look at the signs of what's actually going on inside of me and my life around me, I'll recognize, what, I'm not actually getting clean. Doesn't matter how much I say the right thing or try to do the right thing on the outside, I'm actually still carrying this on the inside, and that's where it actually matters, right? It's things that kind of come out of a man's heart that defile him, right? And those things were in my heart, no matter how many facades I put up, right? And the bearded man, wisdom doesn't come to us a lot of times in the package maybe that we like or want to see it come from. Maybe it's even a little disheveled in the way that it comes to you. But are we willing to kind of even sometimes forget the package that something's coming in, but still listen to what's being said and what's actually happening around us? And then, in the second video with the power washer, this time I'm with the power washer and I'm saying, I don't know how to make this thing run. I've said I know how to make it run. And again, symbolic of my life where acting and doing the best, the things I've been told, the things I think I should be doing from even my own Bible reading, but no power behind it. It's actually not up and running. And just looking and saying what needs to change, and when that video starts, the bearded man is standing in the dark. It's kind of dark, it's shadowy, and it's just symbolic of how often do we come into these dark places in life, these frustrating places in life, and it seems kind of a dark place. But that's where we'll actually stop and listen to wisdom. That's where we'll actually begin to open our ears and say, you know what? maybe I don't know how this works. Maybe I don't have a clue. I need help. And so if you're like in one of those dark and frustrating places, I just, you know, it's okay. Maybe you're just at a place you got to just step back, take stock of what's actually happening, and listen to what wisdom's saying. And I say that all in relationship with God. Get that relationship up and running, and listen. How do I get it up? What for real is that relationship? How does that actually work? Because here's the reality. I don't care what anybody says. We're created. We're created beings, and when you begin to actually realize, I've been created. Think of everything you know in life that's been created. Think of your car. Think of your house. You think of any of it when it's being used according to its purpose and the way it should be, and it's being maintained in that way. It runs well, and it's a blessing, and it's actually joyful to use that thing. But when you're using it again, I you've heard me say this on a couple of the videos I've made before, that if you are trying to put gas in a diesel engine, that engine's not going to run right. If it's probably not going to run, or if you're trying to put diesel fuel in your gas engine, it's not. Everything about it's going to be a nightmare. You're putting water in either one of them. It's not going to run right, and you're just going to be so frustrated. And it kind of takes you to that dark, frustrating place. But it's okay. It's just saying you're doing something wrong. Let me step back. Let me reevaluate all this and take a good look, because when I actually begin to do things right, it will work. Your life will work when things are in order. And I said the only way that I think you're ever going to get that in order isn't going to make any man your counselor, but rather going to God. And he probably will bring people into your life, men or women. And you'll be receiving from them something from God, but it's not making them your counselor, but rather God's your counselor, and he brings people to you to bring you some information that you desperately need. And if you can get that relationship with God, is the most important thing. And through every video I ever make and any interview I ever do, I hope that's what you get out of it. It's not that I have really any wisdom to share with you, but rather the greatest thing you could ever do is have a relationship with God and learn to hear how he speaks. If you can learn the language of God and you can hear him, like you're set, he absolutely will come and he will talk to you and work through people. He works through people all the time. But make him your go-to. And when you establish that relationship, he will put things in order in your life. It's not if. You hang out with God, you will be changed. Your life will change. Results in your life will change. Your outlook on life will change. Those dark and frustrating places will dissipate. They will turn into sunny, bright places, joyful places. So I'm not saying it's in an instant, but it will happen. It's not if. It will happen. And it's that idea of, maybe you've been putting, diesel fuel in your gas engine, and you really need to get cleaned out, and you need to be flushed out. And it might take a little bit to get that process done. That process may not be super enjoyable. But when you do get it flushed out, you will run right. And you absolutely will have hope for the future. So hopefully that speaks to somebody out there on some level. So, hey, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. If you can, like our page, share our page, comment on the page. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and catch you on the next one.